Hello fans, it's the Kevin Piland Show, now back on today. Now, today's episode is going to be about changes that are going to be made, including one that I'm making today. Today's change is that I'm no longer announcing the date like I have been doing in the past. This is in an effort to prevent me from getting confused, because a lot of times I would say the wrong date, or I would forget what day it is, and you know, I just don't want to go through all that confusion. So, but you will see the date on YouTube and on Facebook, so please don't get mad at me if you don't know what day it is. Just thought I'd clarify that. Also, if you're logged on to YouTube, you will no longer be able to comment on my videos ever. This is not to be rude to those of you who like watching my show, but rather this is to prevent rude comments from being posted on my YouTube page, because I've been having problems with that with my old one. So to prevent that from happening, I'm just gonna disable the comments from now on. Now why do we all do this to ourselves? Why do we do it? I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I read on the news is that Subway's doing the $2 6-inch deal. And I saw that meatball was one of them, which was my favorite, by the way. So I started to wonder, who would want to eat that stuff if they ever were fans of Subway? Now, yes, I eat at Subway myself, and I've worked at it before, but you know, December is the last month of this year, the year that I would have liked to have ended on a good note, but instead I ended up quitting Subway because I was dealing with a rude manager, you know. But the good news is I don't have to worry about it anymore, and the Kevin Piland Show will be a success in the upcoming months, so please bear with me. You'll still be able to watch my show as always on Facebook and Google Plus and YouTube. So if you like my YouTube episodes in the future, just shift off from my old one and subscribe to my new one, TKPS 1000. If you'll do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. Now, some of you may be wondering or questioning why I took a break since last week of November. That is because I needed time to gather my thoughts and see if there's anything else that I want to talk about for this month. And boy, do I have a lot to tell you today. Now, lately I've been running out of things to say, and so to cut back on that, I decided to take a break for almost a week. Now, one senior citizen who admitted to stealing from Sears in the 40s decides to pay back the money. You know, I think he's setting a good example for himself for admitting that he was wrong, because we've all screwed up at one time or another, and we have to give them back what's theirs, you know, because that's the way it should be. But you know, it's just, things happen. You know, people do things that they're going to regret later on. We've all done it. The only thing I've done that I regret now is leaving Subway the way I did, because all I could have done was just turn in a 2 weeks notice. But the only reason why I couldn't do that is because I didn't want any retaliation. That was how I felt back then. Now I don't have to worry about it anymore. So now it's come down to this point. do I want to do the Kevin Piland show, or do I really want to work at Subway and do the Kevin Piland show at the same time? Which I've got one new fan, by the way, that I've worked with once before. But there were rumors about her throwing food at the customers, which turned out to be false. I think what it is the person I was working with obviously didn't like working with her, period, so they figured, well, if they spread rumors, she'll quit. You know, that's just the way that people act sometimes. So we just have to think about it. And try not to spread rumors when we know that something's not true. You know, we don't need that going on. Now, this summer's artist of the month is Rush with their song called Red Barchetta, which is about a car. Obviously, if you've seen the video, you'll understand it. And even if I'm not hosting the Kevin Piland show, you'll still see some interesting news events. Go ahead and click on them and take a look at them and tell me what you think, man. Don't be afraid. And speaking of news, I received an unusual email the other day, and it turned out to be inappropriate, and it turned out the Fox station that it claimed to be from turned out to be false too. Thankfully, I made a phone call to the station to find out what was going on, and it turned out the person apparently just was bored and was looking for something that I can't even do myself, you know. There's things that I shouldn't be doing, and if I have to do it, I'm going to wonder why later. The email turned out to be a red flag because they never did that particular story that I was reading in the first place. So if they didn't do it, how did it get out there? It's one thing to share a link with somebody, but don't do anything stupid. You know? The email said, top 5 ways to tell a friend she needs a makeover. Turned out the Fox station didn't do it at all. They didn't do it at all. And the lady that I talked to on the phone even told me that it was not true. And I give her credit for that. And her name turned out to be the same as the name mentioned in the email. But it was not the same person. I suspected that someone was pretending to be a reporter. But the question is, why? Why did this person do that? Because that infuriates me. It really does. When someone acts like that, I'm not going to put up with it. Ever. And I swear, the Kevin Piland show has never talked about anything like this before. So I want to give some of you a chance to let me know how you feel about something like this going on. If you have received an email from a Rebecca at yahoo.com with a capital R, and she's sending false information about something and is flirting with you, tell her to knock it off. Or don't respond to it, but let me know what that person sent you and what the message said. I'm not going to hold it against you for that. You know, at least give me an idea of what was said. You know, you don't have to do the whole sentence. Just let me know what it said and all, and I'll investigate it and talk to you about it if need be. And there's a possibility you'll be a guest on my show. I've been thinking about this. Why in God's name would anyone want to do something like this? Why would anybody want to do something like this? Well, the lady I was thinking of talking to apparently just wasn't available, so it's alright. I'm not that worried about it. But I want to get to the bottom of this sooner for later. And this episode of the Kevin Piland Show will come to a close for now, but I'll be back on tomorrow with the latest on this.